Good afternoon and welcome to your weekly current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Ego Sagbonlao. I have in the studio Professor Joe Odion. He is a luminary, a very seasoned legal practitioner, somebody that knows the terrain when it comes to all the legal lexicons. And I know that we want to do judgment to what we have today. Prof, you are welcome to the program.
It's nice to be back.
Everybody is talking about the reason for which you are here. And that is the declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State and the suspension of the governor of Rivers State, Fubara. So many questions to be asked. But let me just give you the background information. The president, immediately after announcing, that was on Tuesday, after announcing the declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State and the suspension of the governor, Fubara, the House of Assembly members for 6 months, he appointed, he nominated and appointed Vice Admiral Ibokit Ibas, retired, as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state for the first 6 months. The appointment of Admiral Ibas, a former chief of naval staff, represents a notable shift in governance for Rivers State. His role involves restoring stability and tackling the political and security challenges that have long affected the region. The president relied on Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution to make the proclamation. The section interprets a state of emergency as a situation of national danger, disaster, or terrorist attacks in which a government suspends normal constitutional procedure to regain control. Professor Joe Odion,
yes, thank you.
Are you in agreement with what President Tinubu did on Tuesday in Rivers State?
Yeah, thank you, Egosa, and thank you. Good afternoon, our definitely, I'm in agreement.
Okay.
I'm in agreement because the situation on ground in Rivers State demanded that kind of drastic measure. And then most importantly, the Constitution, the ground norm, gives him the powers to do that.
Okay.
So for me, I even thought it would be done a long time ago when we had that aberration of 4 members, epitomizing the House of Assembly.
Okay.
The crisis has lingered for about 2 years now. And so the threat of violence, threat to peace has been lingering for now. So I think he was patiently probably waiting for the Supreme Court resolution of some of the judicial issues or legal issues that were taken to the apex court. And once they came back from the apex court, and this filibustering and big bats was still going on, and culminating in the fact that the House of Assembly couldn't even provide a platform to present the budget within the period or in line with the Supreme Court's judgment. The threats of violence on both sides anyway, from the minister himself and the governor, and then of course the last straw, the bombing of the oil pipelines or installations, which both parties, regrettably, including the governor himself, have openly made threats about. They are all documented. And so that kind of situation where the chief secretary of the state himself somehow by his body language gave the impression that it was a do or die affair if he was impeached, and some ethnic nationalities, took it as if it was an ethnic war against themselves, and it became epitomized by the bombing that took place on Tuesday. No president should fold his hand and do nothing. It is normal that he should invoke such emergency powers in line with 305, which you just read out. And so he hasn't done anything that is to you. There are precedents that we can call the hand.
Well, we're going to come to those precedents.
So we'll talk about what you do that is out of the blues, that is outlandish, that is one we can query, at least on the surface value.
Yes.
But of course, what I'm saying, as usual, is my opinion as a legal person. The courts will have a final say. Incidentally, these matters have been litigated over time. During the era of the Darius era in Plato, and that I said we'll come to, the courts had cause to pronounce on this. Yes. And scholars have had cause to intervene on this. Scholars, I don't mean TV lawyers, including myself, and I'm also a scholar, but those who go beyond TV, sound bites.
Yes, analysis.
They've done a deep analysis.
Research.
If there's cause to sit down and discuss, people will get to know the truth.
Okay.
And then when those who feel that they can raise hope lie by the whole thing, they can always go to court. Okay. I hope that when the court decide to, they will not sound like bouncing the court as they often do.
Okay.
Yeah.
You really talk about the presidency, because it appears on Nigerians have a way of, they seem to forget.
Yeah,
so
naturally,
I've seen that. Most Nigerians forget so easily, but it's not good for our national development.
Yeah, we have to keep it. Yeah.
Now, before
that issue is back. That's why we're bringing issue back to our economy.
Before we move on,
yes.
Some person said that the proclamation of President Tinubu Bola is not comprehensive, that he ought to have involved another actor in the crisis, the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. What's your take on that?
That's the same thing. People don't understand the nature of constitutionalism. You see, constitutionalism is not politics or political science. Now, in proclaiming state of emergency, you look at those who have powers, who have executive or legislative powers that were delegated by the Constitution to man their affairs in Rivers State. People who were entrusted with the mandate to ensure there is security, peace, good governance in the state. The institutions is that of the governor, executive powers, the House of Assembly, legislature. Governor Wike is a minister in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, of the FCT.
Yes.
Whatever I was doing in Rivers State, what he did as a private citizen of Rivers State, as a politician. What he did in terms of all the hoopla was mere politics, which can be dealt with at some level. And as the president tried to intervene at that level of politics, and it didn't work. When it came to the issue of governance, issue of constitutionalism and law, those who were charged with the responsibility, who took oath of office, because even the House of Assembly, they also took oath of allegiance to uphold the Constitution and to protect our rights and citizens. The persons or institutions that failed in that respect was the governor and the House of Assembly. And the House of Assembly personifies Wike because we all know that the 27 members are loyal to Wike. And we all know that they took instructions from Wike, or Minister Wike, as it were. You get the point? So the very decision to suspend both the House of Assembly and the governor of the state was a balancing act. If you had removed the governor and left the 27 member, which is not possible, or vice versa, you can talk about not being balanced. If he wants to remove Wike as minister for abandoning his job as a minister of the FCT and politicking or creating, that's a different thing altogether. That should not come with the context of state of emergency declaration. What you want to do is, or what you should do with Wike, if Wike is becoming a distraction to his cabinet, if Wike, as we already know, is fingered in the insurrection or the crisis in the River State, it's something that will be dealt with politically or administratively, not within the context of state of declaration. That we also mention Wike's name and fire Wike as minister in that proclamation. Is Wike governor in River State? Is he? So what official position? Those who failed, those who didn't know they had a higher stake, because it was not Wike could have been filibustering as he enjoys doing. But the governor of the state, the members of the house, ought to know that they are the ones given the powers to maintain law in the River State. Even the so-called members who were taking instruction from Wike, as it were, blindly or whatever, ought to have known that they had a higher stake.
In Rivers?
In Rivers, because one was that after the Supreme Court judgment, the overturning by the governor, they would have taken it as an opportunity. They would have taken
the governor
drove right
to the House of Assembly to present the budget in compliance with the Supreme Court judgment. We have information that the gate was locked. It was not allowed to the premises. He didn't communicate properly. And the governor said communication was done. And
that is the area I disagree with them, because I have had to discuss this in other fora. I said, you see, when it comes to issues of exigency, you leave all those legalese, leave procedural or bottlenecks. Because the first time he said they wrote letters through the social media, it was not well channeled. I said, those are just technicalities. Even for us in practice, in law, we've long abandoned those technicalities. Law is now very liberal and flexible to attain justice. So why would you say that because they didn't give letters to you through the procedure as you claim, therefore you will not come attend to an urgent? That's with the budget of the state, with people's salaries and life attached to the budget, and under the Supreme Court. So the next available opportunity have lash on it. Okay. And then to think that the governor came to the House of Assembly, I don't know whether he informed them before coming, whether there was any, there should be no ceremony about it. More so, it was the budget I presented before, that was already in the pipeline. So to just come and formalize it in line with the Supreme Court judgment, to regularize.
Do you think the members of the House of Assembly, probably they had clandestine motive? Probably they've made up their minds that, oh, this governor must be punished, must be impeached, or something like that.
They may have that in mind, even if they do have it in mind. That is why I also suggested in other informal discussion that you must be magnanimous in victory.
Okay.
You must be magnanimous, especially when you have the interest of the state at heart. Having fought that 10 months battle up to Supreme Court, I know they went through a lot. It came to demolish the House of Assembly and they stopped their salaries. They were practically dehumanized. Yes. With due respect, I must concede to them. But when you fought the battle of the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court now got judgments. Somehow you were validated. You should be magnanimous in victory, because the governor too also stooped low now to say, I agree. Actually, he had his 4-member house. He could, if he wanted to be intransigent, he said, I will not go. The matter is in court as a claim. But he said, okay, now I want to present to the 27 members that he claimed were not members before. That is already a show of a concession. A show of concession, a show that I'm no longer on the high horses, I've come down. So that is why they should have reciprocated.
Okay.
I haven't failed.
Yes.
That is why there is now a precipice that the president can latch on to declare what he has done. And so there's no point mentioning Mr. Wike in it. Mr. Wike should be sanctioned administratively. That should be the push, not time to Rivers State.
But has he done what another politician wouldn't have done? Wike. Is there anything that he did regarding Rivers as an ex-governor that probably an ex-governor has not done?
Well, yes. I think in his own case, because of his, I don't want to put it now. I don't want to disrespect the minister of the. I'm doing
okay, because he actually
doing very well.
He installed footballer as governor.
People have been installing people.
And so wanted footballer to be loyal to him.
I agree. No, that is even the politics of it. People have been installing people, really. People have been installing people. And we have seen some level of ingratitude from people who have been installed. We don't want to start mentioning them, but we already have several references.
We've seen a lot. In Akwa Ibom. The Senate President. Akwa installed Udo. Udo was no longer lawyer. We've seen what happened in Benin. We've seen what happened in those states. Now Rivers.
So what we are saying that.
So the only two politicians should stop installing. They should not install. They should allow the party politics to determine who emerges as the candidate of the party.
Let's be realistic.
Yes.
If you want to be governor tomorrow, you have the quality to be governor, or at least let's say to member of the House of Assembly. If somebody does not sponsor you as a godfather, you will not get there.
That's the problem.
And so the system, and it's not the Nigerian system.
That has marred our democratic practice.
It's not true. It is part of politics. Even those, if you bring professor of political science, even those in the US, they are godfathers there. In fact, they are godfathers there. There's no way they don't have godfathers, for goodness sake now. How did the Bush family dominate? How did Clinton dominate? That the wife was a senator or the secretary of state and wanted to be president? How? Kamala Harris that became vice president and wanted to be president. Look at her trajectory. She only had godfathers. How did she get so fast in the Jonah Tudu resigned from Canada. However, how did he become president? So there are godfathers everywhere. It's the way we play our godfathers that matters. You see, the rules of the game. Yeah, they won't call it godfather. They say it's mentorship. It's called mentorment. Even the academics, for goodness sake. We mentor ourselves. Even your journalists, don't you have mentors here? Yes. You call it godfather, but there are mentors. There are people whose rise in the journalism sector will be very fast because they have some people, breaking that kernel for them. As Chino Achebe said,
yes, it's
natural. So in parties it's there, but it's just that both parties must not get overboard. You must not do that as a form of disservice to the citizens, and put governance on mortgage. You put governance on hold. That is what you should avoid doing. You can do your quarrel, quietly, covertly. All your dirty agreements, MOUs that you signed to probably shortchange the state. Those are things that should be done privately now. So why would you bring it to the public for? And like we said, other godfathers have handled their own tactfully. Those states too, we had our own filibustering. They said, okay, we'll not give you tickets. It's politics. Okay, the man went to their party. Okay, we'll not allow you to win. The man eventually won. The Togba mantra and all that. The one in Akwa Ibom moved on, became minister, became senator, what have you. Now he's back and I'm sure they are reconciled. Even in Delta State here, I'm not sure Udwanga was on a very familiar terms with Okowa after a while. Even if if you ask him, I'm not sure he's as cozy with the current governor too. It happens. Because you don't expect a man who has been installed, who has executive powers, which we shall come to when it comes to short. Yes. What executive powers? When we talk about executive powers, people don't understand that executive powers is very
enormous.
Very enormous. People don't know that. Even for a local government chairman. When we adopted this presidential system of government, we left parliamentary system. What we done is that our presidents, our governors, let me know our chairman because there are still issues about that. They become like monarchs.
Very powerful.
So one Bose did that in his strategy. Those who are shouting everywhere should go and read some of these treatises on constitutionalism. They should go and read literature on the concept of inherent powers. So they are like monarchs. Who questions the monarch? The king. Not traditional setting. The king don't ask for your head. If the king sees a maiden, say I want to, can you stop him? The king say I want this one's head, can you stop him?
No.
So that is what we transformed into. So the lecture we have is the legislature.
To check the excesses of the executive.
You have the Western world better than us. Look at what Trump is doing. Trump is not it's not what he's doing. Executive powers, executive orders. He's doing a lot of things because he has executive power. That's the concept, and we borrow the American practice. The former American president Nixon, Nixon is a good example. And even Lincoln. So I say, whatever the president does can never be illegal. At least until the court pronounces so. Even though I say Trump himself is obeying court order. You saw how he deported out immigrants as part of the court order. But I don't say it is right. But we should adhere that these governors or anybody that wields executive powers, they have enormous powers. And to checkmate them, you have to show hardcore evidence that they were acting, in bad faith, or called malafide.
Okay.
It's not to just come and start saying you can't. So when governors are there, as a godfather, you must defer to them. So you should be very circumspect in who you put there. Because once he's sold out, like holds out red or green barrel, you are.
And I'm still talking about these former governors, maybe before they leave, they bring in their tutti, and somebody that they have, they seem to trust.
I think they trust, or they can manipulate too.
Yes, people they can manipulate.
But
don't you think sometimes maybe they do not really study their successors? Don't you think so? Because somehow that their successors are sworn in, they just, disappoint their predecessor.
Yeah, that is the punishment. They say karma. Those who don't believe in karma.
Okay.
But God does not give us true judgment. But when you put them in context, there's still some level of instant justice, even from our Almighty God.
Yes.
See, when you tinker with the due process, when you shortchange those who are qualified for the job, your reference you being governor, the person is I cannot share publicly.
Okay.
When you bypass the man who is qualified eminently for the job, and you now pick a stooge as a twist, what you think you can manipulate, you know that he's not up to the billing.
Most of them look so innocent.
And even though
they have innocent looks.
The populace don't even want this person. The populace, who are told to be the final determinant, you force that person through their truth. Because you think you are now a super king, you want to install somebody. That person too is not a fool now. Person will pretend to be humble.
I think that's the language.
Humble.
They pretend
to be a novice. I cannot talk. I cannot bite. This guy is so humble. He's so humble. He's so humble. He's humble. And then you man gets there. So even if it's not, if the aides will say, "Okay, you are the one who look at it. You have the good values." The aides will be showing you the constitutional provisions, the powers it has here and there to revoke CFO. You have power to revoke CFO. You have power to make executive bill. You have power to this. So
most times, the permanent secretaries, they seem to guide the governor. So they either guide the governor wrongly, or they guide the governor right.
Then the governor his powers. What's wrongly? The man his powers is telling him the truth. It's not go wrong now. So it's not how he wants to use it now. You have the power. So just imagine this is our state. Like I said, a governor took a budget to a so-called godfather in Abuja for them to decide how to appropriate. And the man was saying, don't give this money to this. This sector, give only 20%.
Yeah.
Sector, what we call a non-state actor, because a godfather. I know of a local government chairman, I don't want to mention name, who I know, because it's my friend, was taking the allocation. When the allocation comes to the government, then you go and take it to one godfather, and the godfather will say, where's the one for me and the boys? They will first excise that one.
Okay, where's one for salary? You take salary, okay. Where's for contractor? The man decides over everything. If you want to be chairman, go and be chairman yourself. So these are aberrations. And so when the man decides that, look, I cannot continue anymore, you start.
Problem will start.
But in your revolting to, what I say, what you want to revolt on, where we have to revolt to. But it always meant that you didn't get that job on the platter of gold because
somebody put you there.
You dine with the devil, dine with a long spoon.
Yes.
You knew you were not qualified. And you knew that part of this man's effort to put it there because he wants to be a stooge. So when you are not realizing your powers, you must not balance. You do it, diplomatically, tactfully. You do not allow the plebeians, your aides, your circumference to push you into a head-on collision. That's what happened in River State and other states, in River State. Because River State, in less than 3 months, the battle has come in. You check out when they started fighting, it's more than 2 years now, or close to 2 years.
More than about 2 years.
May would have been his second year anniversary.
Fubara was even described as the governor under pressure. I don't know whether the man really enjoyed his tenure before this state of emergency because he was really under pressure.
Because he mismanaged the goodwill that he enjoyed as governor, goodwill of the man that installed him, because he couldn't manage the differences. When you have a difficult father, have a difficult boss, in quotes, as you manage properly. When you have difficult followers, same thing. You don't allow your followers to push you to ginger you, as they use local panels to ginger you beyond your capacity. That is what happened. He was not a man who could manage situation properly. Remembering your trajectory, how you became what you are, you will have been calm. Then, since you have followers, it's not everything they tell you that you must follow. For goodness sake, how would you rule the state with 4 members? How could you have, because of threat of impeachment? You could have, if you went to FC to go and meet the minister, or even you went with the bulldozer to demolish. I saw the gigantic put on the
Yes, and the president
actually
cited that as part of the reasons for the proclamation of a state of emergency in Rivers. He said he destroyed the House of Assembly and he has not rebuilt the House of Assembly complex.
At least in our own case here, what they did was to go and put granite in front so you cannot
access. And they actually remodeled the Edo State House of Assembly.
So why did you put granite there?
You can see the difference.
Put granite there or park trailers. You can park 20 trailers.
To block the entrance.
Yes, if tomorrow you can still drive the trailer away. So the collateral damage will become something that so of such magnitude as it did. That was the height of executive lawlessness. Let's leave ourselves. So such things will not engender it to people. Only those who don't like maybe Minister Wike because of his arrogance and of course he's not a gentleman in the he's a rough kind of person.
But he achieved success.
Who don't like his bluntness, who don't like his arrogance or overbearing. They are the ones who will be trying to be justifying what the governor has done.
But he always achieves success.
It does.
Mr. Wike tells you that this is what. Look at what he's doing in the FCT now. He has attracted infrastructural development to the FCT.
He's doing very well. When it comes to that managerial aspect, we must give to him. Even as governor of River State, of course, a lot of people did so well. Of course, that is why he was able to muster the courage to fight federal government and keep it a PDP state until, of course, the magic wand of President Tinubu. Tinubu has his ways, and then the man of the fell in love with Tinubu and for whatever reason worked against.
But do you think there are some political reasons for this state of emergency in Rivers? Do you think President Tinubu is trying to maybe achieve something that we may not be aware of?
It's not possible. I can't put that past him. He's a politician to the core. You saw what happened in Lagos State and what he did with the speaker, the reinstatement. Those things are things that tells you that a politician will always find a way, and politicians will not only want to play by the rules in the nation, they must find a way to, have an upper hand. But when the man who is a good dribbler gets the ball and is able to score and score with the hand like Maradona did in 1986, for those who are you cannot complain that he's not a good footballer, he couldn't score. That's why when people kept shouting, he scored the second goal to show that he's not out of ground and dribbled everybody past. So as a president, he has enormous power, like I said, enormous powers that may not be in the constitution, they are inherent. So he has that means enough discretion, so which can be abused. It's like a boss, or that happened to like a boss giving a lady a query. I used to teach my students because you feel that as Baba and Natasha now, without prejudicing what's in court, because you feel that the man makes some advance at you or wherever, it doesn't stop him from being the Senate president. Just when you're having the powers to punish you for other infractions, they are saying that you breach the rule by your actions that day in having a shouting match over the allocation of seats. The issue of sexual harassment has been taken to the background. You my point? That's how it is, because you have powers to punish you, discretion. Whether it's going to abuse or not, you have to prove to court that he was acting, inappropriate manner, feeling bad faith, or use the power for inappropriate. So if he uses his as presidency, he wants to, 2027 is around the corner. He wants to get the votes of Rivers, which he got in 2023. And then since a governor who is fighting his Man Friday, so that man is his Man Friday. Like I said, he's doing so well in the SCT that he has no reason to remember. If a governor can, if a president can say reinstate a speaker that 37 people kicked against, that was impeached, a speaker that tried to take over the seat in the Gestapo side, they said, coming with
DSS.
You see, went to Amtist.
Which was proven not to be DSS. They alleged for DSS. But
later Amtist to reinstate the man back.
Yes.
Is it the Minister Wike that gave him the vote in Rivers, or that made him doing so in SCT? Like I told people,
okay.
It doesn't need Rivers State by any standard, because he can get it 25% without Rivers State.
Okay, Prof.
Yes.
There's an aspect that seems to be mind-boggling, or
yes.
Nigerians seem to be disturbed. Is it constitutionally appropriate for Mr. President to have suspended Rivers State Governor Fubara?
Thank you very much. I think that's an area where some of us misunderstand the legal implication of emergency rule. People should take time to understand it. It's not purely a legal issue. Even political scientists know about all this. They know that when it's an emergency rule, you resort to extraordinary powers.
Okay.
The constitution or the organic law at that time is suspended. It's suspended to enable to deal with the exigencies that led to that emergency situation. You do not use the regular powers of the state, irregular lawmaking organs, irregular institutions to instill law and order in the instant of emergency. And so, if you declare state of emergency and you are doing that because the governor, the chief secretary, appears to have failed to restore law and order with his deputy, and then the lawmaking organ that ought to make laws that will engender peace and tranquility, law and order, also has failed. And in this case, it was evident there was a disharmony, a conflict between both organs. And that void, that vacuum of governance created by their inability to come together is what is probably being exploited by those bombing the Orange Nation. The man who is doing it or where it's coming from.
Yes.
May have been stage managed as some allege. But the bottom line is that your schism created that loophole. Then it simply means that you cannot remain in office when steps are taken to restore law and order. What will you be doing there? If the government is left now, who is going to govern? With such power as government? Is it the House of Assembly that has started impeachment notice that will further create crisis? Because if you start impeachment notice, we'll start bombing. And when they serve the president, the bomb starts flying in. Whether it was coincidence, nobody knows.
Yes.
So what is built now, law and order, you can no longer expect that the governor should remain. And those who expect that, who are saying that you must point to the constitution to say, where is it written? It means that's not constitutionalism. And I said, don't have the concept of executive powers. The constitution must not provide every detail of what you can do, what you cannot do. It cannot provide it. The constitution already gives power by section 5 to the executive power to do what it is to restore law and order. And then it goes to say, when there is threat of war, threat of natural, threat of famine, and when there is a breakdown of order in any part of the country, when government, you can declare a state of emergency, section 305, which nobody has queried. If once you consider that the station of ground demands them to declare state of emergency, once you consider that he has the power to do so, subject to the ratification by the Senate, which I've just said that they've done by the Senate now. Once you consider whether he removes the governor, it's a matter of discretion, which you and I have no control over. And whether discretion has been abused, whether it be used judicially or judiciously, as I say, it's a function of the court to determine. Okay. Not you and I to sit here and pontificate. But I don't have such power, it's not true, because the drafters of the Constitution of America, where we borrow it from, says so the president must not be looking for what to do every day. Instead, the Constitution, that's called the inherent power theory.
Okay. Because
once it's only as executive powers, he should do whatever he can to maintain law and order. And it has been used in the U.S. During the Vietnam War. The president then did a lot of things, seized mining codes, suspended human rights to ensure that you must go. People are forced to join
the army.
It's an emergency. In Nigeria, when the Plateau State, and that says the president of just declared some and remove the governors, and of course you cannot continue because you were in couple of another. In a state where you had 2 speakers or 2 governors fighting over, they were removed and said, so what is special about Rivers? People are setting bad example. Because Governor Goodluck, in his calm nature, in his humble to a fault, which also led to his humbleness and weakness, all due respect, that created the void that we needed a strong man to come. And that's how we ended up with Buhari for 8 years, and we all regretted it. He created the platform.
Yes.
When there was insurrection in the north, Boko Haram took over half of the state, if not all. And there were 5 Boko Haram flags in the state. And then you say, because we were being political, you wanted to please the north because of your ambition to remain in power to please. As against Almajiri school, so you were so scared to remove the governors, you now did what is an aberration. Tell Majesty, you say governors should remain. How does should remain? To be doing what? And that examples my colleagues are citing. With all due respect to them, some journalists say they are citing to be saying that it was wrong to have removed the governor of the state. It's not possible now.
When there's a state of emergency, the governor is supposed to... Yes.
Because you cannot make laws again to govern the state. You cannot also, as a governor, govern the state by laws made by the House of Assembly. It's extraordinary powers. If it's a case of national issue, it's a declared martial law. You saw what happened in South Korea. It's a martial law. It's ruled by extraordinary means. So why would you not sit down and say because you hate the president or hate the wicked, with that, it's just about the governor should remain. When the governor is even fingered constructively for the better of another, because of body language, your refusal to even call the so-called persons, I'm not mentioning who were threatening fire and brimstone, you couldn't call them to order by whatever means. You are an active party in the crisis. You should be led there because you want to have a sound bite, you want to pontificate. Is that how we govern? Is that how we come to educate our public?
Okay.
So let the courts have a say on that. It's quite, because the courts have already made some pronouncements that are akin to that. To say it's not there in section 305 means you have not read about inherent powers. And political scientists know about it. Constitutional law know about it. Not everybody that comes to come and shout on head and matter. So how deep have you read the Constitution and the literature that regards it?
Okay, Prof. Now, the House of Representatives today approved what the president or accepted what the president
they voted
did.
already.
House of Rep released their statement.
Okay.
Senate just did theirs now. That's the breaking news on ITV now. Okay, so but the PDP on Wednesday had a press briefing and condemned the act of the president.
Yes.
A former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, also condemned the proclamation of state of emergency in Rivers State. How will you reconcile all of these varied reactions?
No, these reactions are not from persons who are objective now.
Okay.
So there are Jundists now, Jundists we wish. So there's no way a opposition party, the government of PDP, is battling in Rivers State, whether you come to PDP or APC. Wiki is at the center. Wiki has one leg in PDP, one leg in just after he revoke the C4 of the PDP secretary. I don't know whether it's the major one or the small secretariat. So Wiki is already seen as anti-PDP now. The Godlo is seen as PDP, and the man there is president of the party is an APC strongman who wants to capture, who they believe want to turn the party to a one-party state. He has been accused of spending money to destabilize the opposition parties. So of course, it's going to be difficult for them to see things objectively or to even reason with the man, because the man is like a sworn, I won't say enemy, a sworn opposition person. So all those statements are laced with bias now, Jundists now. They are not being objective now. Because the idea that they build that is a way to get the governor out. Possible, it's not impossible. It's possible, but it's politics. But you don't mix politics with law. Even if you try to separate it. And so like I said, if you man has a legal framework to play politics to his advantage, you will use it now. Because you were there, when you were there, you did the same thing now. When people in the party did the same thing. They can recount examples of what they did. So, but it is we on the other side that can complain.
Okay.
And the former governor Amechi, it's not Amechi you're talking about. Amechi is also an aggrieved party. So we know how he tried to, he came second to the person, how he wanted to be president too, and he lost in the primary seat. Then he has been estranged from his party. It's not different from El-Rufai now. They're the ones wanting to go to SDP. So when such person makes statements, they should be taking the pinch of salt. But if other persons, that's why I talked about colleagues, colleagues, some senior colleagues who made comments.
Yes.
If they are objective, they will all concede, which most of them concede, that it was necessary to declare emergency. What they disagree is the removal of the president, the governor, and the deputy, and that is the area where some people are left. That is where I differ with them.
Okay.
But the general framework that the crisis on ground in Rivers State made it imperative, inevitable to declare something. Any other person saying something otherwise, it's just politicking. It's not being true for himself.
Yeah.
Right? When they start bombing all the installations, or when they go out with the impeachment as they had planned, then they start fighting on the streets. Then they will now send soldiers, because if they wanted to do it the garrison way, soldiers will take over the place, which they have done now. But the impeachment will continue. So why would you declare some emergency that will also drive away the 27 members who are proteges of your Man Friday, as I said? You could have just sent a garrison of soldiers to take over the entire River State, as they did in Plateau State, River, and impeach the man. And nothing to see, because the same soldiers are there to shoot anybody who misbehaves. And they are very good at it. But these soldiers are still spanning from the Opama crisis where they were killed. So they're looking for an opportunity those boys in the creek, they're looking for an opportunity to do something to them. You know that. So they are happy now that they are sent to the creeks. So they are waiting. So you could have sent them and say, be there, any PM, take charge of it, we impeach the man. But they said no. So let us declare some emergency. So those who are politicking will politic as usual. Those who see things straight, those who are speaking genuinely,
yes,
that it is wrong to remove the governor and the House of Deputies, they are there too. We may know that the law is on two sides. Like I'm giving my own personal opinion,
yes,
based on my knowledge at my level. So okay. I may be wrong.
Okay, now let me ask.
But the court will prove us
yes,
that are wrong. But let people not come and speak from a very jaundiced position, and then without even considering the other side, that it's possible that it was need just condemn because you want to condemn. Okay.
Okay. As part of our own way to wrap up today's discussion,
yes.
What do you think the future holds for Governor Fubara, the members of the House of Assembly that were also suspended along with Governor Fubara, and of course Rivers State, because the sole administrator now, we understand the federal government has released the withheld funds to Rivers State. So that means the man will have so much funds at his disposal
to spend
within the 6 months. So, so what do you think all of these will culminate into?
Let me address that. Me, I try to be balanced if I can. I won't say I'm objective because it's, who should judge that? I also didn't quite agree with that sudden release of the funds. So because judgment is very specific. If you want to apply the slip rule, very specific, there's no ambiguity there. It says present the budget to the House before you can get your allocation from the federal account. So that has not been done. So I don't know where the establishment became the House of Assembly. But if there are other extraordinary measures to release funds to them, I wouldn't know. But if it's the funds that the Supreme Court put a lien or a caveat, I prefer to use what caveat, that you must pay, that is wrong in my own view. Maybe that is the reason why you can afford the declaration, because that was created an interregnum for 6 months. But governance must go on. Maybe they have a way of getting around that. But ordinarily, on the face of it, you think it is wrong to release money to the man who will go to be using money that has not been appropriated in the reason of it. But like I said, it's an extraordinary measure. So extraordinary measure requires extraordinary means. So I think that maybe the money is coming from somewhere, maybe not through appropriation. That is one. Then secondly, the major question you asked, what future for Rivers State?
Yes.
Yesterday I was with a group of friends. This is what happened in Rivers State, like that story in the Bible. I don't know about that. It's King Solomon that it happened to those two women that were dragging the baby.
Okay, yeah, King Solomon.
Said they will let us share it too.
Yes, King Solomon.
Mother said no, leave it, don't share it.
Yeah, you give it to her.
So at the end of the day, it was the truth. So I think what happened is that the worrying factor, the worrying factions, those who want to impeach at all costs, and they will have to impeach themselves now because they will be at home. They will have to impeach themselves at home. It's also, the they want to impeach is at home. And then they will now sit down and retrospect.
Yes, retrospect.
So I believe what the president has done, beyond the Section 305 legalese, as it were, politically, is a 6 months moratorium. Go and sit down and resolve yourself. Like one of my friends said, maybe 48 hours to the expiration of the 6 months before it will be extended. It can be extended. That the governor, the deputy governor, the speaker, everybody, and Wike, they will drive in one coastal bus. They will have,
so they will reconcile.
And say, please, we have to reconcile. Please, okay, let us go back and continue our normal.
Because the emergency room can be extended.
Yeah, because so these 6 months they must reconcile, and I know they will reconcile. Because even the House of Assembly members who have been away for over a year, they know they might be paid for some time. The governor himself will suddenly miss being governor. The aides, all those sycophants, one after him, they will suddenly miss having their governor.
So it's better to settle so that they can all come back.
Your governors, and then maybe business as usual. The small things you are getting, perquisite, you get it. So you want to do it now. It happened in Plateau State now. When after the all round, General Gowon was at the head. So please, don't extend to give us back governance. So 6 months is enough. Even the Senate said so. All leaders of thought, religious leaders, politicians, will now use 6 months. In fact, by the 3rd month, we are going to meet and say we are done. It's possible to revert to 3 months. We are done with our reconciliation. Let's revert to normal.
Because that's what the Senate added. The Senate added it that they do for mediation.
Yes, it should. It should. So within the 6 months, which is almost half a year now.
Half a year.
Out of the man's tenure.
6 months is
cannot get back. They cannot get back by constitution.
For a governor to be at home for 6 months. Doing what?
So they must sit down. He will introspect, which I know he was already doing by coming back to the house and there. So they will sit down and discuss. Even the minister, Wike himself, who is playing God, I believe strongly that even on the sides, he will be reflecting, he will be feeling bad. Because it's still on his name.
But some persons are alleging that Wike's finger is in this proclamation of state of emergency.
At times we do things out of anger, out of desperation. But the real fact is that Rivers State has suffered this stigma now because of him and the other people, his friends who became co-actors. So he must find a way to get it off his neck as soon as possible. Of course, without getting his pinch of salt anyway, there must be some compromise with him and the governor.
Yeah.
The godson must become loyal to the godfathers again by some terms of settlement, as we call it in the legal parlance. The House of Assembly must have some settlement with the governor. And it cannot be the governor must go anymore because it is now, you must act in good faith.
Exactly.
To show that the who are there is not to get the governor off. I have to say, after your first term, you can get the second term. Okay. The man has almost done 2 years. But then it's coming back in maybe in September or thereabout.
He has already, he's going to lose about 6 months now of his tenure.
So the best thing is to consider, let him finish his 4 years. And then you say you won't do a second term if you can. If people say they want him as they did for Edo State, you must still vote him back. Yes. And you cannot stop him and become governor.
Exactly.
That is the truth. But you just have to manage him for what he is.
Okay.
But most people consider that the best interest is the interest of the people of Rivers State at all time. Put it at the front burner and subsume your interest in the side corners. That's what makes you a leader.
Thank you very much, Professor Joe Botion.
We're flying solo today. Nobody to counter me or challenge me.
Sometimes it's like that, but I know the viewer out there must have really enjoyed today's program, today's edition of the program 60 Minutes Nigeria. We just hope that normalcy will return to Rivers. We understand that civil servants just went about their business after the proclamation of state of emergency. That's to tell you that you are on your own.
Yes.
So, footballer, you are on your own. You just needed not to have allowed the political crisis to have escalated to this level. On that note, I say thanks for being a part of the program. My name is Erusa Agmalao. Do have a wonderful weekend ahead. Bye-bye.